Distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it's a real pleasure to be with you today at this important event. Let me start first and foremost to extend on behalf of the European Union and the European Union citizens the condolences to the family of the victims of the tragic events in summer and the support that the European Union is ready to provide in order to help the Turkish government to address this issue and also all the operations which are linked to the rescue and the support to the family. Now, coming to this, the topic of today is very important because it is a topic which shows at the same time the commonalities that we have and also the usefulness of the accession process in order to make choices, as has been just illustrated concerning data protection. Now, I tried very briefly to address three issues where we are with the Internet, in particular the European Union. Second, what are the challenges that we have ahead of us? And third, what we could do with Turkey. Now, first and foremost, what is the situation today concerning Internet? Well, it is obvious that Internet is part of our daily life. Being social network, being economic activity, being a simple way of communicating is part of our daily life. We can do almost everything with that, and we are, I won't say at the beginning, but certainly we are far from having seen all the potentiality that Internet can bring to our daily life and how it can affect, say, our decision and our positioning in our societies. I would like to underline in particular the economic aspect of all this. Internet is evidence-based, has fostered innovation, growth, trade, and also new form of democracy, new form of participation to the setting up of opinion and the setting up of the way through which people are participating to the public life. Just to give you some figures, growth related to Internet economy is forecasted at most 11% in the EU, with a contribution to GDP expected to rise from 3.8% in 2010 to 5.7% in 2016. It is evidence-based that small and medium-sized enterprises intensively using the Internet grow almost twice as fast as enterprises which are not doing it. The Internet economy creates 2.6 jobs for every offline job lost and offers a better choice to consumers, including those in rural and isolated areas. The gain brought by lower online prices and the wider choice of available products and services are estimated at more than 11.7 billion, which is equivalent to almost 0.12% of the whole European GDP. If 15% of retail sales were to be e-commerce and the remaining obstacle to the Internet market removed, it is estimated that the gain for consumers might be as much as 204 billion, meaning 1.7% of the European GDP. These are figures that I would like to recall because I think that everybody knows, but you know even more, that in our economic life, Internet is already a powerful instrument for growth and job creation, and it is likely that this will grow as it is already evidence-based in the European Union. But this at the same time has also created a certain number of question marks. The governance of this new phenomenon, the realities which are, let's say, changing, and the sense of the globalization, if we use that word, which is very much employed in these days. And therefore, it's raising a couple of important issues. On one side, the Internet has blurred the distinction between public and private sphere. We are in an area in which people are working, are positioned in a space which is very often managed by companies, Google, Facebook, but then it is unclear where this area is public and private, which are the laws which apply to them, who is responsible in case of damages. Police can patrol streets, but it's hardly to believe, by the way evidence are there, that it could be efficient in patrolling the net. But it's a real issue. It's not a question to say it must not be done. Simply to say this new reality should trigger a different way of working. In any case, open question. Second question is that the internet has blurred even more than the global economy borders between states, and therefore the responsibility of enforcing the law and enforcing fundamental rights. Fundamental rights which are very much linked to the reality of the internet space. Therefore, how all this can be done, which criminal code apply, who will pay for violation of fundamental rights, or simply for, say, stealing property, intellectual property. I think that all these are new, let's say, aspects which must be clear in mind. I would say that if I refer to some figures again, because we're not talking about the future, we're talking about every day, concerning cybercrime, there are an estimate of 150,000 computer viruses in circulation every day, and same number of computers are compromised every day. According to the World Economic Forum, there is an estimated 10% likelihood of major critical information infrastructure breakdown in the coming decades, which could cause damages could be estimated of $300 billion. Cybercrime causes a good share of cybersecurity incidents, and Symantec estimates that cybercrime victims worldwide lose around $290 billion every year. And McAfee study puts cybercrime profit at $750 billion a year. Just to say that, because sometimes, the debate is driven by some myth or some, say, not very complete information. This is the reality of the net. On one side, huge potentiality based on what is the reality, job creation, economic activity, new form of freedom. On the other side, the same area is constantly under attack. It's constantly under attack, and therefore it's fair to look at how to manage all this. And therefore, we need to keep the confidence of the citizens. We need to keep the confidence in this area of a new form of economic freedom and of social freedom, and a way to participate more to the setting of the opinion. And at the same time, we have to see how we can, let's say, protect this and enforce the law. Now, what have been, point number 2, your responses so far? We are, as many other individual member states, and also specific competence which are given by the treaty to the European Union, we are in fact working on this area in order to, on one side, uphold in the online world the values they stand for the offline reality, to promote an open and free internet in which the rights and freedom that people are offline also apply online. The EU has enacted directives to align national legislation to combat child pornography online and cyber attack. It has set up an European Cybercrime Center at Europol and allied 53 countries worldwide, including Turkey, in a global alliance to fight child sexual abuse online. It has put together a cybercrime and cybersecurity strategy to reduce cybercrime. And as we speak, discussions are ongoing with the new legislation to enhance network security and set up a new data protection framework, as it has been just recorded. In the EU, obviously, you see it, you know it, because it's been part of the public debate in the recent period, also engaged with strategic partners like the United States in order to regulate, or at least to be better equipped in order to protect personal data from abusive use and manipulation. Therefore, we are, in another word, not only working in order to, let's say, translate our fundamental principle in the law, but we're also contributing to a global internet governance, which is something particularly delicate that I guess we will discuss later today, because in a global world, with a global instrument like internet, it is obvious that we need to have some form of global governance in order to keep the space open, but also to have the space protected. Now, there is one issue which is immediately coming up to the mind, which is the balance between protecting freedoms and enhancing the capacity of this area to generate all the benefits and potentiality which are now under the eyes of everybody. And very often the debate is a bit stuck between ensuring security and ensuring freedom. I think that this debate and the solutions, or in any case the response to this question, must be all driven by one consideration: the two things must work together. There is no illusion that there is no security without enforcing and ensuring freedom. And obviously this freedom must be protected, because otherwise they turn into weaknesses in our society. But the two things are, let's say, must go hand in hand. And the real issue is therefore not whether to find a balance, but how to find a balance, and how to enact a law which are up to this challenge. We have a set of legislation, I recall it, we have data protection under revision now, but we also know some recent judgment of the European Court of Justice, which has, for example, addressed important issues. For example, the recent one, which has stated the right to be forgotten. Extremely important. Is the fact that an individual at the end, should be able to protect its own identity, and therefore the right to be forgotten. Another recent decision of the European Court of Justice is about the data retention directive, where it has been found that the right balance of proportionality between the security on one side, and therefore the seizure and storage of personal data, and the guarantees which were given to individuals in order not to be in an unjustified way and without the rights to be protected, was found not to be in conformity with our rules in the treaty and with the Charter of Fundamental Rights. And I would like to underline that the Court did not say that the two objectives are incompatible. Simply, and very importantly, it indicates what are the key references in order to address properly this dynamic. And the references are clear and precise rules, limitation to what is strictly necessary, proportionality, and respect of fundamental rights. These are the parameters on which now we be obliged to review also our legislation. I think that third point, now coming to Turkey, we are talking about an European state with which we are embarked in a heavy process, which we call accession, but which is also linked to Europe through solid economic channel, societal debates, political interest. So we are talking about European Union on one side and Turkey on the other side, which are highly integrated already. And on this, we are building this process of accession. Now, in this framework, in the recent year, we have seen a good cooperation between Turkey and the European Union on reforms in the context of efforts to strengthen the rule of law, democracy and fundamental rights in the country in line with European standards. And I think, just to recall, since 2010, the different democratization packages which were adopted. And in this context, concerning the digital agenda, Turkey's digital technology sector plays a strategic role as a horizontal enabler factor. It is a turnkey for future productivity growth, competitiveness of Turkish industry, and employment opportunity, in particular among the young people. And it helps in reshaping what is necessary, let's say, what are the characteristics of the Turkish economic activity. Developments, particularly in broadband provisions, are significant. Mobile broadband penetration rate almost doubled from 16.1% in 2012 to 31.5% in 2013. While fixed broadband penetration rate per population increased to 11% in the same period, compared with the annual average, which is now 47% for the first and 28% for the second. In recent years, Turkey has achieved significant reforms in the legal institutional framework, particularly in electronic communication and information technology. Since the opening of the Information Society and Media Chapter in December 2008, Turkey made significant progress on 5 closing benchmarks. Therefore, to say that still something is missing, like the law transposing the Electronic Commerce Directive, but things are moving and there is clearly a connection between the process of accession for slow, and I understand this, and I like to very much support all those saying that we should do more in a faster way, but still, the simple fact that we are talking and we are speaking the same language has contributed to these reforms, which are change and contributing to change the environment in Turkey. Now, therefore, on this basis of this process and this reality, we have common challenges which are linking EU and Turkey further. First, to welcome rapid changes and ensure that these changes work for the benefit of citizens. Second, to embrace new technology as a means to strengthen civil society, access to information, increase popular oversight of the state administration, foster transparency and reinforce democratic accountability. Third, to ensure that intervention in new technology is underpinned by key principles: protection of fundamental rights, privacy, data protection, public interest and proportionality, and the right to find an appropriate balance between freedom and responsibility. Legislation must adapt to ensure that access to this new expression of participatory democracy is promoted and respected, and its self-respect legislation enforced. Now, it is in this context that we have been following closely recent developments. There have been laws been adopted. I mean, the internet law has been changed twice. There have been laws concerning, or proposal of laws which are aiming at regulating internet journalists. Many changes in the judiciary which have an impact on the independence of action. Therefore, on this basis, we have obviously expressed our concerns. Expressed our concerns which are based precisely on the starting point. If the starting point is true, that this is a vague reality, which is an open reality, which is an important economic reality which is transforming our society and creating jobs, it is obvious that the challenge of finding the proportionality and the proper balance between the key objective of ensuring more freedom, because without freedom the internet will not work, and ensure that the state is enforcing the law against criminals, against terrorism, against any kind of people which are violating the law is crucial. Reason why we were concerned, because we have the impression that several of these laws are following a so-called, what I would call, old-fashioned approach, as if it were possible to patrol the net as it is possible to patrol streets, just to use my first expression. Therefore, we are engaged on this basis, common challenge, common experience, including failures on the European Union point of view, with the Turkish authorities in order to, first, to discuss the impact of recent amendments to the law on internet on freedom of expression. Second, to call for the lifting of disproportionate ban on Twitter and YouTube, where at the same time we are seeing that there are problems in respecting the same Turkish law, having seen the assessment given by the Constitutional Court. Therefore, obviously, as our European Court of Justice has attacked and declared null and invalidated the data retention directive, also the Turkish Constitutional Court, in its role of assessing the compatibility of recent laws, in particular the Twitter ban as it was enacted, in respect of the fundamental treaty, i.e. the Constitution of Turkey, found it was not proportionate and not compatible. Therefore, you see, there is a symmetry on this. We are all looking for those solutions. And therefore, the point is to have in mind the fundamental laws which are protecting fundamental rights and are also finding the way for the state to enforce them. Therefore, we were and we are looking for strengthening our dialogue in order to find this new balance. Third, to stress clearly that restrictions on social media, if any, must be in any case particularly well dosed. They must be measured and proportional. They must be enforceable while avoiding blanket bans on thousands of internet sites, simply because this is ineffective, and simply because this, at the end, will kill the same instrument which is generating more economic opportunity and a new way to participate for everybody. So there is a pragmatic approach, based also on our experience, and to say, including the last one. I will conclude in this way. We see in Turkey, in concrete terms, in practical terms, not only an accession candidate. We see Turkey a partner. We see Turkey a country with which we have to share the challenges that we are experiencing together. It's not a question just to look at details of laws, certainly. But the issue is that we are bound by many elements in economic terms, in political terms, in institutional terms, that suggest only that we have to work more. I think that on this, we are guided in our dialogue in order to find a solution. We consider, for example, and we suggest that at this point in time it would be very useful for Turkey to consider to launch an inclusive dialogue involving all stakeholders on all aspects of legislation affecting internet. We constantly do it because there is not a magic fix in one moment. You need to involve people. We like to suggest this. There are moments in which, once the dust has been settled, it's necessary to talk to everybody, to compare notes, and to tackle this issue, which is not, let's say, forgetting about the security, but rather to find the appropriate way to defend and to preserve fundamental freedom, and at the same time to ensure the security of everybody, which is not the security of the state, it's the security of people, first and foremost, who are working and living in internet. We are conducting with the Turkish authorities peer reviews on freedom of expression, the judiciary, and fundamental rights. We are, in other terms, there in order to share our experience and to work together. We are also offered to mobilize EU expertise in commenting on draft legislation, particularly useful what has been said by Elena this morning. The Council of Europe and the Venice Commission is another important partner and in terms of know-how on what Turkey can take information and inspiration. Commissioner Füle will be here in June, in June, in order to co-chair the working group on Chapter 23, Judiciary and Fundamental Rights. Therefore, we have also an institutional moment to discuss and to try to take some lessons of what we have done. Therefore, we needed to build on some positive spin, which, after all, has been created by the opening of the chapter. Positive spin also created by, let's say, the new visa dialogue, in which the protection of fundamental rights and data is fundamental. In order to get this result, this is not about accession, this is about to be in a position for Turkey to be on visa-free. To relaunch the custom cooperation. Custom cooperation needs security for investors. Call that in this way. And therefore it is obvious that we need a more clear, based on the rule of law and predictability for investors, to increase our economy, which is already highly integrated. I mean, everybody knows that 50% of the trade between the European Union and Turkey is done with the European Union. So therefore, I think that this is important in order to stress what we are talking about, which is very concrete. And obviously, we would like to avoid that there is a rollback of the achievement of the recent years, which would be particularly damaging for the reform that Turkey itself has decided to do. Now, I said it before, and I will say it again, history and facts speak in favor of a solid, mutually beneficial and ambitious relationship between Turkey and the European Union. We are not here to give lessons to anybody. We are here to share our experiences. Since we are sharing fundamentals, I think it's fair to share our experiences in order to get it right. It's not easy. It's a business, it's unfinished business, it's work in progress, but this is the spirit through which we will approach this. The reason why I keep saying that Turkey and the European Union also in this field need to do more and not less together.